For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back on the air, the end of a great week of WFO. I'm Joe Castello, and if it's your first time watching the show, you're going to want to subscribe, click the bell, subscribe however you want, and share the show. We have got Erica Enders, four-time Pro Stock World Champion, has now won four wide, a bunch of times. The winningest driver in the history of the Strip at Las Vegas, Nevada. Think about that. 9 times, broke a tie with Tony Schumacher out there this past weekend. We are going to hear from Erica and Courtney Enders. We got a twofer on this show. It's going to be great, a lot of fun. And I'm considering this, I'm calling it happy hour, right? Like after this, the week is over. And I'm headed down to Homestead Miami Speedway for a little Fast Lane Friday action. Like, isn't it funny? Like my week is over and now I'm going to go work to another job. But whenever you're at a drag strip, that's not like grueling hard work like you guys out there on the other end of this thing are doing, digging ditches and whatever you're doing. I'm just kidding. Okay. But I want to say a shout out to the people who make it possible for me to go WFO before we bring on our guests, like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. You go around in the pits and you ask, what kind of rings are you running? And many, many people will say Total Seal. They unlock the hidden horsepower, whether it be stock eliminator, where you're restricted by all these rules. Their gas-ported piston rings make a huge difference. Or if you could track down a Formula One team and get them to actually tell you, maybe they would tell you Total Seal. That is a good thing to ask. Go to TotalSeal.com to find out more information. New episodes of the podcast, Hidden Horsepower, up and available. FTIperformance.com. Performance racing transmissions for big money bracket racing, .90 racing, Pro Mod, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, FTI. Greg Samuel and his team been going for over 10 years, and it's really been a radical ascent to the top where they have become an industry leader. They've got their own fluids. Go check them out, FTIperformance.com. And then VP Racing Fuels. VP, new with WFO. And super excited to tell their story as, almost a boutique racing fuel. It's kind of different, not like a macro brew, but a micro brew that so many racers out there choose and love. But maybe you don't have a race car and you can't go out and buy C12 to support WFO Radio. You definitely can get their product of lubricants and their line of and fuel additives. And they even have car care products. We're going to be telling you a lot more about VP in the coming days. Plus, our great friends at samtech.edu down there in the Houston area for the next generation of engine machinists and cylinder head machinists and CNC programmers and motorsport EFI tuners. You got to think about all the next generation. Like the driving part is easy, right? Who's going to build the engines of the future? And the answer is Samtech grads. Call Brian Massengill, tell him you heard about WFO. And maybe if you're down there for the final Spring Nationals at Houston Raceway Park, maybe you can swing by the campus and get a checkout, get a tour. Check it out. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. This one is frivolous fun. Driving a dragster. You and your buddies show up with nothing. Have a day of driving dragsters with Frank Hawley. Amazing stuff. Courses start at $399. I always tell you it makes a great gift. The best gift ever, frankhawley.com. And then finally, Marvin Rodak. Write down this number, 817-924-6821. Marvin Rodak. Write down the number because Marvin Rodak is he's the man when it comes to coffee, hot sauces, spice rubs, everything good. Like it'll improve your life. And I'm drinking a little Rodak's coffee right here, right now. All right, looking at some text messages that maybe Erica can or cannot hear me. Let's just go like we do it all right in front of the audience, right? Let's see if she disappeared. Right at that last second, she disappeared. Let me see. She's going to connect back in. Let's see who's out there. And then we'll get Erica back seconds from now. Lonnie says WFO. Good morning, WFO, says Jim. Nenny's out there. Jay is out there. Everybody is out there checking in because it's Friday. What's up, Nina? Walt, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody is out there. Hey, Joe, when you're in the West Palm Beach area, let me know. We can grab lunch. Thank you. Hey, Keith, what's up, Keith? Keith is on Pro Stock Motorcycle. Keith has been a big sponsor liaison, did a lot of great things. Erica is back. Let's see if it works. Cross our fingers. Erica, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? What's up?
Good. Sorry about that. Typical Wynnywood Wi-Fi.
To me, it doesn't matter. It's great to see you. We'll make it work regardless. 9 wins at the Strip at Las Vegas, Nevada. 9 wins, the winningest driver at a specific track. To me, that was a huge, huge statement statistic about you and your career.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome. Las Vegas has been super great to me in years past. It was the location of my first win with Elite Motorsports. We won the 2014 K&N Challenge there on Saturday, followed by the national event there on Sunday. Won that fall race. Come around in 15, same thing. K&N Challenge, national event in the spring, national event in the fall. So it's even when I haven't performed my best, Las Vegas has been great to us. So it was really cool to secure that 9th victory to go ahead and lead as far as professional drivers are concerned. I don't want to piss anybody off.
And Troy has mentioned that. Troy's like, Justin Lamb is 9 and Dan Fletcher's got 11, but they can run multiple categories in the same weekend, and it's not exactly a fair comparison. So Camping World Series racers only.
Yeah, and it was cool to put our name ahead of Tony Schumacher and Greg Anderson, and just definitely a cool little side note there. So super proud of my team.
Absolutely. You have won 2 of the first 4 races of the year. And it's funny because, I don't want to say you're dissatisfied, but you've been very intense this year. You've said it flat out, and yet you've won 50% of the races.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed, and it took me, quite frankly, until we got to Las Vegas to get over that first round hole shot loss against my teammate Bo Butner in Gainesville, when we were able to reset the national ET record for pro stock, including the carbureted era. So that was definitely a huge feat for us. And going back and looking at the data on the run, we definitely could have run better than that. Ingersoll said we could have gone in 43, and we still would have lost the round. So I'm glad it wasn't that painful, and it was just the 45. But hats off to the guys in the engine shop. Jake Hairston, Stephen Hurley, Kendall Long, Kyle Bates. These guys put in a lot of hours, and they were extremely determined after we got our butts drugged last year. The KB guys, especially Greg Anderson, had a super dominant car last year, and still barely won the championship. So we were determined this offseason to find some extra horsepower. The guys went to work with the help of Carl Foltz, and we were able to do just that. And Mark Ingersoll is a true student of the game with Tim Freeman, Mike DePalma. Those guys are all hands on deck trying to get our race cars super happy. So definitely takes a team of people, and a lot of things have to go right to make super successful runs like we are. So again, proud of the guys.
Marvin Rodak out there saying congratulations. John Warner saying congratulations, you rock. Maddie out there saying that my favorite driver, Erica. Getting a lot of positive love here. Then again, it's Friday, right? Like everybody's just happy it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. TGIF, right?
Exactly. Let's talk a little bit. Okay, so Courtney is going to join us. I figured we'll get like the racy stuff out of the way, and then we'll bring on Courtney and kind of have fun. I don't want to make it seem like, I'm not fun. Courtney is going to be the fun, though. She's somewhere in an airport, somewhere in America. And, I think the attitude will change a little bit at that point. But let's look at the quads, right? In that this was such a tough race. You had to go through Fernando Jr. And Troy and Steve Graham the first round. You and Troy, your teammate, transferred. Talk a little bit about just the whole process of the 4 wide, in that you're racing 3 other people as opposed to 2. It's different.
Yeah, it's definitely different, and got a lot of feedback on our comment that it was a giant cluster up there, but it is just that, honestly. There's a lot of things going on, and again, to touch on what I said before, so many things have to go right to make a successful run down the racetrack, and when you add a couple of more competitors, the starting line gets a little bit more hectic, sometimes a little bit more confusing for certain people, and it's just challenging up there. So your eye transfer is super important, going from the stage bulb to getting into the tree so you can actually cut a decent light. But you're having so many other flickerings going on across the board with all 8 of the bulbs for each lane. So two in each lane. So it was definitely challenging as far as that's concerned. And trying to stage shallow, again, get your eye transfer down, and people seem to get in a rush up there. So you just got to be, on your toes ahead of the game. You got to be ready for somebody to get timed out so you're not late decking it and then late coming out. So there's just a lot of things that go on up there that if you haven't driven, you might not necessarily understand. But, the 4-wide format doesn't bother me. It definitely throws some extra challenges out there, but that's something that I welcome. And we've been able to win 3 4-wide events now, 2 at Las Vegas and 1 at Charlotte. So pretty exciting. Yeah,
that's a big deal. Blake saying congratulations. 72 old says Evil E is the best E. Now that's said with love. I think I did that, but it's a great nickname, especially when you get up on the wheel. And we'll talk about it when Courtney comes. Some cool thing that Caps sent in or put up on social. You get to win with Caps again. You get to win with Brittany again. But let's stay focused on your quads. Second quad, boy, this one was tough. Troy, Christian, Aaron Stanfield, and this Christian Quadra. Oh my goodness. 3 rounds, 3 00 lights. Kids up on the wheel, and you guys are involved with that team.
Yeah, absolutely. The Quadra family is part of our operation this year. We do some consulting work with them. Jake, our EFI tuner, Jake Harrison, who's also one of our engine builders, he does the tune-up for their race cars. Frank Iaconia is still heavily involved. 2 of their cars are still powered with his engines. And, dyno comparison from his stuff to our stuff is within 10 horsepower. So that's definitely huge, and hats off to him for all of that hard work. But he's still all hands on deck. Fernando Jr. is running one of our cars, that red Mustang that was built for Richard, because something was going on with his blue Mustang. And until we can get that fixed, he's going to run one of our cars. But both of those kids and the dad, really great drivers. Fernando Sr. just wants to see his kids do well. And he has been such a huge asset to our team. He's so humble and he's so kind, especially for being as successful as he is in his personal life, to come in and just treat us like family. He calls it the Freeman Quadra Boys. He made everybody, gator belts and backpacks, and he's just an awesome guy. But to talk about the 2 kids, Fernando Jr. and Christian, they're both super hungry. I see all of their data every single run. Those kids can drive a race car, and they can get off the clutch pedal. So I think once all of the wrinkles are ironed out, you'll see both of those boys in the winner's circle. And it's pretty exciting to see everything come full circle for them, because Fernando dabbled in pro stock many years ago before the tsunami hurt his business, and he's back and all hands on deck, and just got huge goals for him and his kids. So we're really excited to have them as part of our operation.
No, I like him too. And the more people get to know him, he's a very successful person. And I think he realized that, like, we're not going to be able to make up enough ground between where you were and where they were unless we partner and get some help. And so what he said is that, the engines, the tuning is like one brain trust, and the chassis, that's another brain trust. And Richard was even like, boy, those boys can drive. It's going to be really interesting to see. But didn't you have to service one of the cars in qualifying? Didn't you dive in and start working?
Yeah, a couple of our guys, one of them's getting his CDL and another one has a real job, so he wasn't able to come this past weekend. So again, all hands on deck when there's 7 cars out there. I'm responsible for getting my car back, getting it up on the Projects, and then, getting the valve covers off, running the valves, changing valve springs if necessary. Do that with Richard up front. But as soon as I was done with that job, I ran over to the Quadra pit and we got on the Mustang that's ours, that Fernando Jr. is driving, and run the valves on that car, make sure spark plugs and everything are good. They have a clutch guy and a back half guy, but as far as engine maintenance goes, we're responsible for that since it's our engine. So just kind of running around like crazy. Christian had some really weird transmission issues during qualifying. He was physically in first gear, but the transmission was in third. So those couple of times you saw him not get down the racetrack, the first thing for everyone that's watching to say is, oh, he shook. Well, he didn't shake. He left in third gear. he nuked 2 clutch units. So Chase, my transmission and clutch guy, he was over there working. So it's like a huge team effort. And I think it's super unique because people are just so willing to jump in and help whenever possible. And, you know, throughout the day, as cars are eliminated on our team, all those guys are over on the cars that are still in. So it's a really unique atmosphere, and I really love being a part of it. But that second quad was pretty tough. It was all elite quad with Aaron Stanfield, Troy Coughlin Jr., myself, and Christian Quadra. So I knew, being the oldest person in that quad, that I really had to step up my game and get on the ball, especially coming from Gainesville. And then that first round, I was a little tardy on the starting line as well. So just getting the mental aspect of everything situated with myself. I definitely have the car to win every week. It's all going to be on me. And that's something that I have typically loved in the past and done really well at. So just got to, again, we talked about it last year, some get back to having fun and doing what I do best. And that's drilling the tree. So super excited to leave that round with Christian Quadra to go on to the finals. So just tough racing all day long, to be honest.
Those are the ones that you got to win, right? Like, we're watching this Formula One show and the Drive to Survive, and they talk about, like, when you're competing against your own team, those are the ones that you absolutely have to win. And this whole being the oldest person in the quad deal, I'm now thinking about that, right? And it's happening a lot. Like, everybody's young. The final round, let's focus on that. You got Christian, who's been 00 twice over the course of the day. You got Mason, who is also 00 often, and you got Dallas Glenn, who his nickname is occasionally 00 Dallas. And so that's a very tough final round. And Dallas didn't leave the starting line, had an electrical glitch. You got a race going. Mason missed the tree. He said flat out that he's told me that, you know, as the rounds get later and later, he feels it, right? And it makes sense. The guy's like 20 years old. But it's you and Christian going to the stripe, and he's 00 again. And you're there too, though, 19. Right? Like, you were able to bring it up, and you go 66 and you win the race. Light comes.
Definitely a challenging round for sure. Going into it, you know, looking at just the numbers all day long, not even considering who's driving, the reaction times, the ETs, and then you add in who's lining up next to you. Christian, again, know what he's capable of, know the power that he has, know the guys working on his race car. Mason was 00 the round before, and then Dallas, I mean, he can be good on the starting line sometimes too. So with KB power. So I knew that we had to go up there. Mark, my crew chief, Mark Ingersoll, you know, we were talking in the crew chief lounge before the run, and he's like, we're going for it. You know what I mean? And we made our best run that particular round, and we were able to secure that victory. But super proud of my teammate. You know, you could see the emotion. I watched the coverage on Fox when I got home, and you could see the emotion for Christian, you know, his first final round appearance. And of course it's against a teammate, and you can just tell how bad that he wants it. And I remember that feeling. Like, my first unofficial win came at the 4 wides when the wind lights malfunctioned, right? So I beat Greg Anderson, and then the cameras are all in my face. I take my helmet off and I look up, and everybody's gone, like I got punked or something. And the wind lights malfunction. He clearly won the race, not even questioning that. But it was just like the roller coaster of emotions that drivers and teams experience on Sundays. And I could see it all over, you know, young Christian's face. And he's such a kind-hearted kid, and he really wants to learn, and he really wants to do well. And, you know, I told him it's coming. You keep driving the way he's driving, you cannot avoid the winner's circle. So super proud to share that moment with him and his family.
Yeah, they got bitten on the starting line too, by the flashing bulb versus the solid bulb. Like, what's the deal? And they weren't the only one. A lot of people came up to me during the weekend, like, what are we looking for? We're looking for flashing bulbs. So real quick, I just, you know, there's been some negativity yesterday about, I just want to address straightforward that Christian, his car had a throttle body problem. But some people suggested, like, oh man, Christian maybe pushed in the clutch. That would be the craziest, dumbest thing in the history of the world, to give up your first career win so that somebody else could have their 36th. Can we just like say how crazy that is and put it out there so everybody understands that that's a ridiculous opinion?
Yeah, people's ignorance never ceases to amaze me, honestly. You know, and after what happened at Vegas last year and towards the end of the year for the championship, people decide to run their mouth about if they've ever sat in a race car or been part of a team where you give everything you have every single time, you'll never understand it. So I really don't think you get a voice until you experience it, or you go out and you work your butt off and you raise the money and do it yourself. But, I talked to you a little bit about this. Like, it's super frustrating because if I can't win by kicking their ass by myself, I don't want it. I don't want it because I don't deserve it. And that's something that, again, it's hard to understand if you've never been in the situation. What's also hard to understand is when you're in that 4-wide format, I was in lane 3. All I can see is lane 4. Like, you watch the in-car camera video, I check up on Mason over there, and I was ahead. But with the elevation difference and the high guard wall in between lanes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like, you can't see over. So even if Christian was like, oh, yay, I'm winning. Okay, Erica's not ahead, so I'm going to shut off. You can't freaking see. So
Right.
there's no way that could even have been done anyway. And it was an issue with a Holly part, not something that had been modified. It was just a throttle body issue, and I hate it for him. But if you go through the numbers throughout the day, like, Christian would have had to made his best run of the whole freaking weekend. I was only 1.5 behind on the tree, so we ran a 66. Even if he ran a 68, he's still not getting there. So you just have to take all of those things into consideration before you open your mouth and blab a whole bunch of crap. But again, to reiterate, if we can't earn it, we don't want it. So shut your face.
Well, okay. And I think that's a great solution to this problem, because it stinks that something happens once, and maybe Troy last year thought he was doing something good or to help the team, and you can understand how he would, but people don't realize that that's the kind of thing that hangs around forever, right? And so to the teammates, like, that's not what you want. You don't want another driver to push in the clutch ever, right?
No, for sure not. And, our job at Elite Motorsports is to keep that championship under our banner, regardless of which of the 7 drivers we have that it is. So the object is to keep the championship at home and not allow somebody on another team to snake it from us. So, that's our goal this year is to keep it at home, to get that number 1 back on either my car or one of the cars under this Elite Motorsports Elite Performance banner. And again, we're hungry. We've worked really hard in the off season, and as long as the biggest variable is the human aspect of it, right? So as long as I can do my job, the rest of my teammates can do their job, there's no reason why we can't get it done.
Well, exactly. And you've got a great career going. All right, let's bring on Courtney, because Courtney's in an airport patiently waiting for us to talk about stuff. And now, Courtney, where are you? You're like in the Admirals Club.
I am. I'm in the Admirals Club at the Charlotte Airport.
Excellent. One of my favorite Admirals clubs, everybody. I really enjoy it. Big weekend, right? Like, another big win. Courtney's out there. I love these. I always get photographs, and now I don't even know which ones are right.
That's the one.
there you go. There's so many of these. Did you drive it back, E?
We did. We drove it back. It's kind of become a tradition.
She also backed it into the pit. If you go back and look, she not only drove it back, she backed it into the pit like she was backing up from a burnout.
He's parallel parking a pro stock car somewhere out there. That has become its own crazy thing. And that was it was like totally organic, which makes it the best possible thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we look forward to every weekend going into the finals. Courtney, I've said it a million times, she's my hype girl. She definitely keeps my positive mindset, or helps me get there when I'm not there naturally. So I'm definitely thankful to have her out there, and to share the drive the bitch back thing is super fun for us. So that was our goal. Richard told us we couldn't do it this weekend, but he got vetoed big time.
Oh, see, I didn't even hear that. So
why can't you do it this week? Like, what's different?
I don't know. His mood, maybe.
Well, now that he's all skinny, right? This is a new Richard. Like, who knows what this guy's going to say? Skinny Richard is a different Richard.
He is.
Still a Richard,
he's a lot
though.
Calmer.
Exactly. All right. What about winning with Caps? Court sent me a cool video of Caps from last year, the Wonder Woman deal, right? Like Erica leaving the track, and it's a meme of Wonder Woman, like very forceful. Winning with Caps, winning with Britt. We talked to Britt yesterday, and she said she loves sharing the winner's stage with you guys. What's it like with those two?
It's definitely awesome. I was super excited to see Ron get his first win as a team owner, because you know how hard it is to put everything together and to make all the moving parts and pieces work. And then Brittany and I were talking on the way back to the winner's circle. The last time we won, the best we can figure, was Epping 2017. So and Alexis was in the finals for Funny Car. So you know, again, proud of Ron Caps, but was secretly rooting to have an all-girls winner's circle. I definitely think we're on the cusp of that. It's coming. There's a lot of really awesome girl racers out there, and when Pro Stock Motorcycle joins the other 3 pro classes at the next few races, it's definitely would be cool to share the stage with those other females. But it was a fun winner circle. Some winner circles aren't as exciting, but to have Brittany and Ron there, it made it a lot of fun.
All right, Courtney, you're in the airport, so you control your deal. Like when you have to leave, just let us know. What was the celebration like? You guys were in Vegas. So what'd you do?
That's a question for me, because Erica is a part of what we call the A team, and the A team leaves on the private plane as soon as she gets back to the pit. Like literally change out of your fire suit and leave. So me, Dion, the truck drivers, Chase, Travis, Casey, all them, we go ahead and hold it down for them on Sunday night after they leave.
You didn't want to hang out in Vegas for a few minutes and celebrate, Eric?
She wanted to.
I wanted to, but the boss man says no. He gets in this giant hurry every single time. And I told him this past weekend, because our tradition in Las Vegas is to go to In-N-Out and get doubles on the way to the airport before we hop on the plane every time we win. So we were sitting at In-N-Out off of Craig Road, and I said, you remember when we first started this program and all we wanted to do was win, right? Like we would get, like our goal was to qualify when we first got out there, and then we qualified well. We were in the top half of the field. We started going rounds, and then we started winning together. So remember that mindset. And now here we are, like as soon as we win, he's like, hurry up, get your crap together. We're going to get on the plane. And I'm like, man, I just want to stay and hang out and have a good time. But he said, is this a bash the Richard show?
Yes, always.
Yeah.
I said you were skinny, Richard. I gave you credit for how skinny you are, Richard. That's a big deal. Richard has lost like half of himself. So that's a big positive.
Yes, he's done a great job. He's lost 70 pounds, but
very healthy person.
He still runs his mouth.
Okay. Heading to Houston, ladies, place that's pretty important to both of you. And I just want to hear you talk about it, right? Like being like all anybody has to do is go watch that Disney movie Right on Track and like think about how important this place is to you, your lives, your careers. Drag racing. Yesterday, I went and fought for my local track. Going there for the final time, like what kind of emotion, good and bad, is associated with that?
I'm going to go first, Steve, because then I got to go here in a minute, but I'm going to cut you off. Only I get to cut off the chat. As my position, it's very different than Erica's. I can't imagine what it's like to win there as a professional. I've been down that racetrack quite a few times, not as many as her, but we grew up there. I mean, we sat underneath that big tree in the staging lanes when that tree was not big, and I learned how to drive there. I sat in my first race car there, but getting to evolve our career to where I get to watch, I have a very unique view, and I get to watch my sister do those things. I think that I get to see it sentimentally a little bit more clearly than she does. And I'm very sad. I'm very sad that we won't get to take, if we ever stop racing and have kids or something, we won't get to take our kids there and show them the roots like Dad did for us. But we've made lifelong friends. We have people who we met at that racetrack that we won't see anywhere else except that racetrack every year. And they are the closest friends we have, the people you can trust because they've grown up in that spot with us, and we all share, we're all just little pit rats. So I'm very sad to see it go, but I know poetically my sister's had a career of poetics, and I'm truly in belief that the drag racing gods will let her go out on top there. But that 2014 when she won that for the first time, that was pretty awesome. We had some adversity, changed an engine in like 11 minutes. Robert's hanging out of the side of the race car. She's buckling going up, and we go up there and she's like 9 on the tree. And just to hear the eruption of the hometown crowd, you can't hear it when you're in your car, Erica, but it is something unreal. And that is probably my favorite moment of all the moments that we shared. Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, that was. You know what? I was there for that, Courtney. I was there. I
It was
experienced
amazing.
like much of that moment, especially the roar of the crowd, which is something that you really don't get in drag racing. Like in football, someone scores a touchdown, there's a roar of a crowd. In drag racing, usually the fan bases are so equally split. I remember that one. Like I've kind of got
Wild.
It was wild. It was an epic moment in drag racing when you won out in Houston, because the crowd like erupted in a way that we rarely see in drag racing.
The whole way down too. I'm Jackson Mahomesing it up on the golf cart, being crazy, but it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
All right, Court, you got to run.
I do. I appreciate you always letting me come on, Joe. I have
No,
no
you know what? It
business
should
being
have
in
been
this company, man.
It should have been longer, but you're in the airport. We're going to have to get back to a happy hour show at some point, somewhere, sometime, and to have
We
fun.
are.
Because everyone always asks me, Courtney, Joe, we hate you. We want Courtney on the show. So we got
Y'all can watch me on Flow Racing this weekend. I'll be covering the Woodstock race for Flow Racing. It's pit reporter.
Oh, good.
So
All right,
check
the
it out.
reporter stuff. Flow Racing for
Yes.
those that are members and those that are not. Courtney, bye. Erica, say goodbye to your sister.
Bye,
Bye.
Court. Be careful.
See you. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Courtney, safe travels. All right, now your memories from Houston, Erica.
You know, the racetrack I made my first pass in a junior dragster at, you know, learning how to drive it in a parking lot by our house growing up, and then going to the racetrack where we spent so many years watching our dad race sportsmen. And then we had the first junior drag race out there that I ever competed in was the all-girl final, and we were able to get the victory that weekend. But that's where everything started, you know. I won my first national event Wally there in Supergas in 2004. The first pro stock home race win came in 2014. We backed it up in 2015, but in 14, that was the first pro stock race that my dad was at to see us win. So just a lot of really sentimental memories that come from that facility. So definitely sad to see it go. I'm still holding on to like a small ray of hope that we'll get to run there again, because I heard that they renewed for 2023 that Texas 2K race. So, and I know they have some Christmas events out there. So they renewed the race for 23 for Texas 2K. Maybe they'll do it for NHRA, but I highly doubt it. So I know that, you know, the Angel family has a lot of other successful businesses, and they probably don't need that drag strip, but it definitely is a place that means a lot to a lot of people. So hopefully it's around at least for a bracket program for years to come.
Well, exactly. Somehow. And I went through a little something like this yesterday, trying to save my own Palm Beach International Raceway, formerly Moroso Motorsports Park. We were up there at a commissioner meeting, and we were like, you know, trying to explain why a drag strip has a soul and a warehouse does not. And, you know, people, they don't always get it. They did see things the way we wanted them to see it. For yesterday, it's going to be a much tougher battle in the long haul. And folks in the audience, after Erica goes to lunch, I'll tell you what happened. But we got to save the drag strips, man. We got to save the drag strips as much as we can. Take me back to that first Super Gas win, Erica. That's a huge deal. They brought you to the media center. They wanted to talk to you. Like, what can you still connect with Erica of that moment and remember what it was like? Were you surprised that they wanted to talk to you in the media center?
Yeah, a little bit. But leading up to that, just a few weeks prior, I had gone to Gainesville to Frank Hawley's drag racing school, and I obtained my top alcohol funny car license. So at that point in my career, I was working with a nitro funny car team, and that was kind of the reason for me licensing an alcohol funny car. If you can drive one of those, then, you know, we'll teach you to drive a nitro funny car, and we'll proceed with the plan accordingly. Well, just a few weeks out of graduating from that school, we won Super Gas. And in my interview, one might think that I would talk about, yeah, hopefully this is, you know, the event that'll catapult my professional career in a nitro funny car, blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't what came out of my mouth. Like, even though we had accomplished all of that just then, I said, man, I'd really love to drive pro stock. I've been such a fan of it since I was a kid. I used to sit in the living room in a laundry basket and pretend like I was in the cockpit of a race car and shift. And that was just always what I loved. And so instead of talking about nitro funny car, which I was actively working on deals with these people, I said pro stock. And Bob Fry got in touch with Stevie Johns and Victor Cagnazzi, and that was kind of the beginning of the end there. A few weeks later, I went to North Carolina and met with Victor Cagnazzi, And he allowed me to have the opportunity, never having let the clutch out in one of these things. So that was kind of the win that catapulted my professional career. And I guess God made that come out of my mouth instead of Nitro Funny Car. But again, leading up to that, the year prior in 2003, our Disney Channel original movie Right on Track had come out. So there was like just a lot of media crap that was going on at that point. And it definitely allowed me to get to where I am today. So I'm super thankful for that. And cool fun fact, I raced like my best friend at the time, Jonathan Johnson, and my college roommate in the final round at our home track where we both started junior drag racing. So it was definitely a cool moment to share with him and his family as well.
That's amazing when you look back at how things happen. Now you have 36 career wins, 35 in pro stock, that one super gas win. But man, that might be the most important win right there. That win doesn't happen. Your roommate beats you, say. None of those things that you just described might have happened, and who knows where you would be. It's just a kind of a lesson to everyone out there. You just don't know what road lies ahead.
For sure. Yeah. And you have to trust the plan that's bigger than yours. And even though you have certain desires of your heart, I have to remind myself of this on the daily, but there are things that you want so bad that don't pan out. And we have to trust that there's a reason that's bigger than ours. And, you know, I read stuff on the internet all the time that God doesn't care about drag racing. Okay. But he cares about the moments in your life that make you who you are and direct you in the path that you're supposed to be. And I'm a firm believer in that. And it happened the way it was supposed to. And here we are, 18 years later in pro stock with 35 wins and 4 world championships. And, it's just, it's been a really great road. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. I really, really am. I don't know what I would do without drag racing.
Oh my gosh, me either. Derek wants to know, since you said it was a Nitro team, he wants to know which Nitro team. Has that ever been made public? Do you talk about that? Are they still out there? It's been a long time. Can we say who or what it was?
I'm going to age myself significantly, but it was Jim Epler, the rug doctor. So we were remember that car out there. It was red, black, and white, and that was the team that we were working with. So at that point, that was our plan, and it got kind of redirected.
And Epler is now back in drag racing with Justin Ashley and the folks at Phillips Connect. That's kind of interesting.
How about that? I didn't even know that.
Yes. Yeah. Phillips Connect is the sponsor for Justin Ashley, and Jim Epler is the guy, the puppet master behind the scenes, making it all happen. And they've now signed on for a full year. So maybe it can still happen again in the future. Who knows?
Well, good for Justin Ashley. And I watching the Fox show, like he was commentating because he wasn't in late in the rounds, and he probably has a future in broadcasting. He was like super awesome with that. I was really surprised, and he was really kind with his words about me and my team. So thank you very much.
Well, listen, Justin is, he's like 25 years old or something. He's like wise beyond his years. He's definitely reincarnated somebody else. It's been amazing. All right, tell me about the lunch tradition over there at Elite. We're going to let you go. We're doing this at a special hour right now because this is happy hour for me. I'm going to Homestead, going to announce Fastlane Friday. You guys have got a big team lunch. That's got to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. There's the Houston division races going on this weekend, and was definitely hopeful to get out there to be with some friends and family, but we've got a lot going on at the race shop here. Royce Lee has a new comp car. Mike DePalma's driving the peanut car, that white stick car that I drove for a few races. And then Richard's supposed to be driving that B altered car. So they're just getting all of that stuff ready. I believe they're going to compete at the Houston Nationals. So again, hopeful to go to the divisional, but I'm not sure if that's going to work out this weekend. But lunch tradition here is a big thing. If you look at my guys, they're big people, and we like to eat. So every day at lunch, that's something that we all do together. Is we all load up in all the pickup trucks and we head to town and we eat together. So it's kind of that family atmosphere. And Courtney joked with you about that yesterday. Like lunch is a big event at Elite. Any meal is a big event here at Elite, but it's something that we do for fun and to keep the atmosphere light and a little less stressful.
I love to eat as well. Like, I think that's something we all share. We all fight. Like, it's like, that's why what Richard is doing, and I'm not joking about it. The dude lost 70 pounds. Like that's hard because there's so much good food out there in the world, and not just food, drink, beverages, fun. whatever he's doing, if people haven't noticed Richard Freeman, like he's made some sort of big decision in his life. The guy looks incredible. He looks like half of himself.
Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline, and he had some health issues, and he had to make a decision to get healthy, and he did it. So good for him, and that's something that we all work on day in and day out, and it's a true challenge. I think more challenging than any aspect of drag racing, but yeah, we're blessed enough to travel the country and to eat at some of the greatest restaurants on the tour, as you know, and it's definitely an event every single time. So we enjoy it, and it's always a team effort, team outing.
Can you confirm a rumor that I heard that may or may not be true? And if it's not your place to say, it's no problem. But I hear we might have a Rick and Ricky Jones sighting in Houston.
Maybe. Maybe. The Jones might be coming back for a little bit. They took some time off because of COVID, and Ricky's got 2 young children that they were protecting, and they have a business to run back in Galesburg, Illinois. But we'll just have to see in a couple weeks, Joe. But I would be really excited to have my boy back. Rick's my guy, man. He grew up with a whole bunch of sisters, and he definitely handles me as a female driver quite perfectly. So I would be grateful to have him back. But he's part of the family, whether he's out there or not racing with us. He's always part of our family and part of our organization. And he actually sent me, this is some exciting news, he sent me a picture of my race car on the jig yesterday. It's getting finished up, so we're just a few weeks out on me having a new race car. So I'm really excited about that. We've been slated to have one for the last 3 years, but each new driver that came on board here at Elite has gotten that, from Aaron Stanfield to Bo Butner. TJ just got a new car. So we're last on the list, but my old girl does just fine, even though she's old.
Yes. Old being a relative term. Erica, thank you so much. Have a great lunch. Have a great weekend. We'll see you in a couple weeks out there at Houston. Thanks you for coming on the show, and great win. Tremendous. 36. Like, that is a huge number. 36 wins, 4 championships, 35 in pro stock, winningest driver at the Strip in Las Vegas, and the season is only 4 races old. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for making the time for us here. Thanks to Courtney as well.
Thanks as always, Joe, for having us on, and we're getting closer to Angel. That's a goal that I set out at the very beginning of my career, was to become the winningest, and we're within reach now. So we just got to keep doing our job out there, and we'll see what happens. But again, thank you for having us on. Have a great weekend. I know you're going to have a whole bunch of fun down there at Homestead. So safe travels and enjoy the weekend.
Will do. Say hi to everybody for me, and we'll see you soon in Houston. Thank you, Erica.
All right, Joe. Thank you.
Take care. There she goes. Erica Enders with us here on WFO Radio. How about that? Put your comments in the comment section, your thoughts on everything that is the world of NHRA drag racing, and we will get to them. And I'm going to tell you about what went down yesterday. Those of you that follow my social media, you got a little bit of an indication of what went down, why we were off. I do want to remind everybody that Brittany Force was on the show 2 days ago. That is right in the archive, right at the top. Alan Reinhart, the Ignition Show, all kinds of great content out there for the fans of drag racing and fans of everything, honestly, especially that Ignition Show. We are all over the place, and in a good way. All right, but I do want to shout out to the people. Did I use all my Erica photos? This one is a great photo. Can we talk about the concept that Christian Quadra would push in the clutch on his first win to let somebody else win? Like, you gotta think. There's nothing that would ever, like, I think he would get fired first, right? Your dad is kind of like an investor, and like, there's no chance. There's some conspiracy theories. I know everybody loves conspiracy theories now. Like, that one's not viable. There are some that are just not viable. Everybody loves them so much. Not viable, guys. It's just not, that one is not viable. But great stuff out there, watching it all happen. And the media center, look at me, goofy smile. Had a great time out there at the 4 wide, and it was great. And we're going down to Houston for the next event, and then we're going to 4 wide Charlotte, and then the 4 wide season is over. I do still think, however, that, and we're not there yet, but eventually there should be a 4 wide sweep bonus. If you win them both, you should get something, money, trophy, t-shirt. Like, I won both 4-wide drag races and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. Something. And now we can't make that happen here at WFO Radio. We're not there just yet, but somebody needs to make that happen because it would be a big deal to sweep the 4-wide season. Shout out to the sponsors, the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like Marvin Rodak. I have Rodak's coffee every morning that I'm home, and I love it so much. Guys, if you are into grilling, barbecue, he's got tools, he's got tips, he's got recipes. His website is great. And he sells grills in the Fort Worth, Texas area. Go down there, Dallas, Fort Worth. Stop by Rodak. Say hi. RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com, 817-924-6821. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. What I love is when Frank gets a shout out from one of the champion drivers, like Erica, right? Yeah, I went to Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, got my top alcohol funny car license, right? How about that? She was going to drive Jim Epler's car. How cool is that? She accidentally said Pro Stock. The rest is history. That is a great story. FrankHawley.com. You don't have to have hopes and dreams of being a champion. You can just drive a dragster for a day and understand so much more than you do now. Give him a call. Go to the website. Tell him you heard about it on WFO. Sam Tech. Haven't seen Brian Massengill since PRI. Super excited to connect with those guys down there in the Houston, Texas area. They've got the campus, the school. It's expanded. And Judson and Linda, they put that together so well. In fact, if you want to learn more about it, go to the Hidden Horsepower podcast and look for the Judd Massengill episode, and you will hear the story about how the school came to be, and you'll be even more interested in going there and learning and getting an education. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill, and they've got block and head and CNC programs. Their cars are the curriculum, and they will all be in action out there at Houston Raceway Park in a couple of weeks. And then it's been so great to have VP Racing Fuels on board. If you want to go to their website, sign up for their newsletter and keep up with everything. They've got a lot of influencers out there. We're going to speak with some of them here on the show. But I am most interested in speaking with Freddie, who is one of the on-track, trackside engineers for VP Racing Fuels. And we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks. Go to vpracingfuels.com to sign up for more. Total Seal Piston Rings, Matt Hartford, Keith Jones, Lake Speed Jr., like part of the brain trust over there. And it's just amazing to talk with people like Larry Morgan and find out how ahead of the game Total Seal has been. If you're building an engine, if you've got an engine that's, on an engine stand that you're getting done, or if you're an engine builder who is not yet evolved to what Total Seal is doing and offering, go to their website, spend a little time, totalseal.com. And then there's FTIperformance.com. I'm working on getting Paul Lee on the show before Houston, because they made some big changes over at their team, and it's great. And Paul wanted to have like McLeod clutches for the clutch guys and FTI Performance for the automatic guys, the bracket racing guys. And they have put together such a brain trust over there. Greg Samuel built the company. Troy Williams Jr. been telling me about FTI Performance since the word jump, go, immediately. When the green light came on, he was telling me that this company is next level. And I think in their 10 years in action, they have proven. So if you're building a super comp car, super gas car, bracket car, you're going to go chase that big money. The thing that goes between your engine and rear end should come from FTI Performance. Torque converters, transmissions, give them a call. They're located in DeLand, Florida. And that's just like a little bonus for me, FTI Performance. I encourage everybody to go to the WFO store on the website, WFOradio.com. Got t-shirts, and you can get free stickers there. It's really great what we got. We even have an Amazon store with actually like regular products that are endorsed by me, like regular products, like something that you can benefit on. And if you want to become a VIP listener, a member of WFO Radio, that's what Patreon is all about. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. We do special content and behind the scenes conversation. All the Patreons are members of our advisory board, as in I ask them questions like, hey, should we do this? Should we do that? What do you think? Where should our meetups be? And the answer was Indy and Vegas too. If we want to have the big Patreon meetup, go to the website, check it out, see if it's for you. And you pretty much pick your own membership cost. And thank you to all of our new members, including Jay Blake, who has come on board. Thank you, Jay. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say. Let's see what everyone has to say. Thanks for having me as always. I'm guessing that that's Courtney, and we just can't see her name. Courtney, I feel badly that we didn't have enough Courtney. We did not have enough Courtney today because we were talking about serious stuff like, no one should push in the clutch for Erica ever, even if they think they're doing the best thing for themselves and the team. Like, it should never be done because Erica can win 90% of the races on her own. And it unfortunately follows. Look at John Force a couple of years ago with that whole countdown thing. Like, there's people out there that will never forget such things. And so that's why ultimately it's not worth it. In the end, when you like extrapolate it beyond the moment, it's not worth it. And I love hearing Erica say, don't do that. Don't want it, which is very smart. Let's see what Lonnie says. As much as Erica may use a practice tree, how much variable is it when actual Christmas trees are not the same? Erica says she doesn't use a practice tree very often. She told us in the media center, we didn't get on that, says it's not the same. Like, she may use it, but not the same. Yeah. Drive it back. I was thinking about how you always say 4 wide. You don't have to win every round. You have to finish second, only finish second. You still have to beat the 2 and 3 cars per round. That's 7 versus the usual 4 cars to beat, says Dave. Yeah, Dave, no, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Like the guy who runners up in the quad in the final, like Christian Quadra, he beat more people on the day than a normal 2 wide winner, is your point. And yeah, that's a good point. And the people, the guys 00 all day long. That's tough to do. Monica, always love seeing Erica win. She enjoys it. They're a great team, and they're getting better. Like the thing about Freeman, like Richard is like a comic book character in many ways, but the guy makes money moves. And the thing with the Quadras, like that's money moves right there, because Fernando is a very successful guy and he's got his kids and he wants to see them be successful. I know Fernando Quadra wants to win a race, but if he could choose whether he wins a race or his kids win a race, I'm pretty confident he's choosing that the kids win a race. And they love drag racing. They love drag racing. And they are trying to position themselves in a way to be successful, not once, but for years to come. And the kids, remember, they won the Drag Illustrated World Door Slammer Nationals. They raced each other in the final. Like, these kids have talent. And honestly, I think that that's something that drag racing has, I don't want to say it's missed, but drag racing is changing maybe from a sport where the guy who has been the most successful in business can also be the driver because he's got the money. And that's true. But we're seeing a fast evolution now to what good is that if you can't win? You got to have a driver that can win. And now you got Mason McGahey, who's 00 a lot. You got Dallas Glenn. You got Kyle Koretsky. Erica, clearly the best lead. Like, you got to be near perfect. You have to be nearly perfect on a regular basis. You got to be able to dial up near perfect consistently. And that's what it should be like. That's what professional athletics, sports, competition should be. And it's now what it is. So there it is. Crazy talk. Yeah, exactly. Good show, Joe, says Lonnie. Derek, it was mentioned that there were petitions online for PBIR. Do you have the links by any chance? Okay, so let's talk about what happened yesterday. Many of you know the track as Moroso Motorsports Park. I know it as Moroso Motorsports Park too, but not that long ago, it was changed to Palm Beach International Raceway. It's where the Pro Winter warm-up happened for a couple of years in like 2010. And really, one of the main reasons that I am now an NHRA track announcer, because I announced the Pro Winter warm-up and everybody was like just blown away by the greatness. I don't do cocky very well, guys. It's just a joke. I did get the opportunity in tandem with Bob Fry retiring, but most importantly, that's where I won my Super Pro Track Championship and finished 11 overall in the 5-day bracket race. This is one of the rare all-concrete facilities in the country. It also has got a road course that can operate simultaneously as the drag strip, and a go-kart track, and a mud bog. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's across the street from Pratt Whitney, which is like they're doing jet engine rocket testing, so there's not going to be houses there anytime soon. As luck would have it, though, the guys who bought it, they're real estate investors, man. They're investors, and they want to cash in on their investment. And so they had sold the track to people that want to turn it into warehouses. And you can understand that. I am a capitalist to my bones. I believe in buying something for one price and selling it for more and taking that money and going and getting a great meal or a great steak or whatever I want to do. Like, I believe that, right? Core. But there is only one drag strip facility south of Orlando and east of Immokalee. And all of us, the car culture, the grudge racers, the street racers, like, we've only got one place to go. And to lose it for a warehouse, it just doesn't seem right. Now, what choice do we have? Well, we don't have any choice. The owner owns it. So what's happening is the new company is trying to petition to have some site plan changes. They're going to have 400 trucks rolling in and rolling out every day. 400 trucks rolling in and rolling out every day. They're going to pave over the whole thing. And a group of racers from the local community, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but a lot of the people in the local community, people who had spent their lives out there, who raised their kids out there, they just flat quit. They gave up in the early weeks. People like, hey guys, how about we sign this petition? And people were like, don't bother. It's over. Don't even try. It's a waste of your time. Like, it was really eye-opening to the attitude of some people out there. And I've been fighting it for years on WFO. You know, Joe, you're too positive. You're like Winnie the Pooh. That's dumb. You need to realize that life is hard. Bad things happen. And when are you going to lose your childlike optimism? Like, people have said those things to me in my life. I've had people say that, right? Like, be less positive. Be more negative. It will be better for you when life disappoints you. And a lot of our racing community, I would say, you know, the ones online, like a good 50%, don't bother. It's over. Don't even try. So yesterday morning was the meeting. And several of us who decided, in spite of what we were being told, to go try for no other reason. Like, we're not naive. We know big money wins most of the time, but these elected officials and these commissioners, you know, they have to do what's good for the county. They have to do what's good for the county. And maybe we just make the case, man. I mean, I don't want to be murdered by some big giant company that, you know, these guys stood in the way of a $50 million deal. Like, I don't want that to be happening. But making a case for the track, for racing, for what we love, for our culture. Making a case, just putting up an argument. Even if you're going to lose, it's worth doing. So I'd say 50 people showed up. And a lot of really good, sharp people. And nobody really organized it. It was pretty organic. Show up to this one. Because so many of the local racers had already just quit, just gave up. And yeah, I'm burned about it. Like, I'm annoyed by that. I've said that 5 times. Like, people that, you know, love something and you just quit without even bothering to try. Without even bothering to try. So we went in there and we made a case. And everybody said their own thing and they all spoke from the heart. And the commissioners listened and they thought about it. And in this vote, it was a unanimous denial for the site plan changes. And now it goes to the next meeting. Now, it's a very sticky situation, okay? Because the property owner, you know, they're an American too, and they have their property that they bought and they want to sell it. And they want to sell it to someone, and someone wants to buy it, and they want to make it warehouses. So really, we got to find someone that wants to buy this thing. That's the problem. We can convince some commissioners in the meantime. But we need to find someone that wants to buy this thing and keep it a racetrack. And since I have this platform and I've got X amount of people on there listening right now, and hopefully more in the future, this is what we were told about saving the racetrack. You need more firepower. You need expert guests to testify at the next meeting, which is April 28th. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go because I'm going to be on my way to Charlotte for my job. But hopefully someone in our local community will step up the next in line and carry the ball forward. They need statistics about street racing and traffic safety. You know, where can we get those statistics, right? Where can we get those? We need people from the local sheriff's, the police department, local businesses to explain why it's important. Maybe people who are traffic experts to talk about the 400 trucks. This was a big part of it, guys. 400 trucks rolling in every day, every night, every day, every night. Like how much drain oil is going to go into the protected marshland around there? Certainly like a massive increase over what is from some finely tuned precision race cars, many of them nowadays that are electric out there racing. They said you need to do more next time. You need to do more. April 28th, 9:30 in the morning is when the next meeting is. Palm Beach International Raceway, PBIR. Hopefully the racers and the people who said, don't bother, it's over, will at least understand that they should show up for this one. And I can't. I've got to go to work. Obviously, NHRA Drag Racing. That's what's going on. But we need someone, an ownership group, a collab of people with money. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But on the flip side of it, if you can put up a bid and get the track, you've got a world-class racing facility that definitely needs a little bit of love. It definitely needs some love, and it needs a water pipe put in there. They've got to connect to the sewer system. There's already a plan to do it. It was never connected. It's got septic tank. That's a big problem. It's got to be connected to the sewer system so that they can have potable water, so that they can have bigger events and have catering. There's all kinds of little elements. There would need to be some investment put in there. But you've got a world-class road course drag strip very close to an airport, very close to 3.5 million people in Miami. Look at all they're doing at the Formula One track in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium is kind of a crazy example, but they are investing. There's certainly a possibility to get other series there to run road course races and drag races. And if it wasn't the IHRA flagship track, there used to be NHRA Division II points races at that facility. Super Chevy used to pack them in. Could be a concert venue. The 2009 property, like what they're allowed to do there, gives them total flexibility as a concert venue, kind of like what Billy Meyer is doing with the Stampede of Speed. There's so many possibilities as a racetrack, as a venue, as a warehouse. You know, there's so many warehouses. There's so many places to put warehouses. On the one track, honestly, the one racing facility that we've got, we've only got one, and it's going to be gone. And so now it's about who's willing to, to try to work with them. Now, this is not like, in every movie, One Crazy Summer. Remember that? There's every movie. We got to save the roller rink. We've got to save the this. We've got to save the that. We've got to save it, right? We got to save it. Everybody works together. And you got to work with the people to replace their purchase. They want to sell this thing. They want to make money. They want to move on. The warehouses, not what's best for the community. What's best for the community is the facility with someone in charge who actually cares about it. And that's the problem. For 20 years, you've had people that really don't know anything about racing, care about any racing, and don't understand what is good about racing. And I'm not saying that's bad. That's just life. But that's where we're at. And that's what happened yesterday. And if this was the final victory and it goes downhill at the next one and that's it, and becomes warehouses, I'm proud that I can say that I went there and I did what I could do. And that's it. Did what I could do. And not everybody did. And that's that. So there you go. Now you know what's going on. You can maybe find, but I don't think a petition from someone in Texas, Derek, is going to help. This needs to be a local fight. Yeah. Money for sure. 4-wide bonus. Good idea. That's how far back we are in the comments, right? They should build a 4-wide at Dallas. Oh man, don't tell Billy that. Dang, not enough signal from Galat Motorsports Park. What's up, Jeff? Yeah, they should have this up on the screens, on the scoreboards. Thank you, Nina. I get that. I get that occasionally. Great show. Awesome week of shows. Keep it up, says Scott. Thank you, Scott. Patreon. Yesterday was the first step in us saving our track. Thank you for your help, George Landis. Thank you. George runs autocross out there. You too, George. Thanks for coming. People took off work, that's why there was no show. I want more Courtney. Who doesn't? Never enough Courtney. Agreed. And Courtney's on Flow Racing, doing as a pit reporter and doing a great job. And it's not like I want to take, full credit for launching her on video career, but like a sliver. And I guess the pandemic gets some credit too, because that's where we figured out Courtney and Jason Logan, who is now back, which means that can come back without being awkward. Good job on trying to save PBIR. Hopefully the meeting goes well in a few weeks. That's it. Thank you, Robert. Likewise. Need to have happy hour shows again. I agree. I like happy hour. But right now I'm getting ready to go down to Homestead Miami Speedway for Fastlane Friday. The other track, but it's, man, if they could put in a real drag strip there. But I've had the talks. They'd have to be able to make their money back. What would come with that? I'd love to see NHRA partner with those guys. I say Christian Quadra will make the countdown. He was also a big factor. I think that's very possible. It's going to be very, very tough. 20 pro stockers showing up at every race now. And honestly, I don't want to say I don't root for anyone other than the best story and the easiest person to connect with for WFO. That's my methodology, right? If there's two racers and one is a very difficult get and the other is like an easy get, easy get. But man, seeing Frank Iaconio celebrate would have been really a big deal for that man. And, he's connected to the whole thing. Erica won. We just talked to Erica. Obviously, that's always great for WFO and great for the show and great for the sport. But I'd like to see Frank win a race. That will be huge. SavePalmBeachRaceway.com. Is that actual website? I haven't seen it yet. Joe, my mom says, your eyes are blue. I say they're green. Who's right? Well, Blake, we don't talk about such things on WFO. Did you say Winnie the Pooh? Yeah, I've accused of being Winnie the Pooh. Exactly. That was the quote. Thanks, Joe. No, I get angry, though, because I was trained by the most optimistic, positive person that I know in my life, my dad, United States Marine, about that, right? Like that positivity can get the job done in the most difficult of situations. And negativity is a disease. It's really a disease. It's an infectious disease that is contagious, and it warps the mind. I understand reality. I get that. I know what it means that life is hard and life is tough, but it doesn't mean you can't go out there and attack things with optimism and positivity and move the needle and accomplish goals. It's too bad. You always have to try. You'll never know. Exactly. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Petition can be signed at SavePalmBeachRaceway.com. That's great. But again, we have a national and international audience, and I think signatures coming from Texas aren't going to help. My opinion. It's got to be locals. Don't give up the fight for your track. Don't worry, Jeff. Mark Caruso. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. Frank needs to go. What, Frank Hawley? Daryl Gwynn is going to try to go. Daryl is a local celebrity, but also philanthropist, someone who has genuinely helped. And I read a quote from Daryl. Daryl, I had him send me something and I read it. Police officers need to chime in. Well, exactly. To the racers, now they can see it's possible for it to be saved and everyone needs to get up there and show up. But we got to find someone to buy the track, because ultimately, what's the good in botching a deal for someone if you don't have someone to buy it and keep it a track? Someone buy the track. Pitbull was interested, right? Do we have anybody in racing that's got money? I don't think so. That's sarcasm. I'm fortunate to live where we have 8 tracks within a 2-hour radius. There are battles with locals over traffic and noise, though. Of course. Well, and that's why Bandimere Speedway needs to be the model. You need to partner with your local community. You need to be a site where young people are educated and learn to drive and learn engineering and technology and math and come out and watch races. You have to partner with your local community, something that has never happened in our local community. The track in Atlanta disappeared. Houston will disappear. Phoenix will also disappear. Okay, this is starting pretty negative there, Carlos. What will the future of drag racing be if the tracks continue to disappear? Well, that's a very good question. It's a very good question. And speaking as someone who works with the NHRA as a contractor, I know that's got to be on their mind. It's got to be on their mind. Like, you have to have facilities. NHRA is a large membership organization. You have to have facilities. You have to have places to race. So if we got to build new ones farther away from the population, and it all takes money. And by the way, guys, people got more money now than ever before in history of the world. Not everybody. Not me. I'm working on it, though. Let's talk rough numbers. Here we go. I love this. Mike Mayo, Race Guitar. What are we talking about here? Ballpark. 10 million? Well, what's the question? To buy Palm Beach International Raceway? Really, Mike? 186 acres. I heard 70. Somebody else heard 90. I don't know if they're true. The people who wanted to make it a racetrack, I heard they offered 50. None of these numbers can be supported by fact as far as I know. I'm just telling you scuttlebutt because I got a show and I can speculate. Those are the speculative numbers. 10 million. I heard 10 million was the number to build a track down around Homestead Miami Speedway, part of their facility. Western Colorado was or is a co-op. The racers got together and purchased the track. Right, Jeff, but like I just dropped the $70 million on everybody's head. It's a lot of racers. The entire net worth of every racer that races at Palm Beach, unless you include Johnny Gray, isn't the number. No, not room for a drag. No, there is room for a drag strip at Homestead. Absolutely. But that's a track that is owned by NASCAR. They would have to work with the local community and it would require investment. There's hurdles, right? Like NASCAR's got a good thing down there. They want to add a drag strip. The local community has to be involved. We're going to have countless more events. They would have to have high profile partners. But this is red alert right now. Mike, let's see what Mike says. Hey, Joe, contact Doug Foley. He's a Top Fuel owner. Oh, thank you, Mike. You may not know he is involved with a big time, big money real estate in Mooresville, North Carolina. Ask him for advice. My opinion is that everybody that is at the highest level in drag racing knows this deal is going on. They all know. Everybody knows. They know things that we don't even know that they know. Doug knows. And, not to make, Mooresville, North Carolina real estate seem small, but compared to what's going on here in Florida, as you can imagine, it's just a different deal, property values and stuff. That's probably why our thing. We live in paradise. We have this great challenge. We live in this paradise. Like I go to the beach. I could be at the beach in 15 minutes, guys. See ya. Everyone call your city officials, flood them with emails and phone calls. Maybe. I don't know if that's going to work. We were told what to do. Expert testimony and large numbers of people at the meeting to show that the community really wants this. That's what we were told. Rabbit, maybe, not Winnie. Thank you. If I was anybody, I'm like Tigger, I think. So late, Joe, get someone connected for a new game for an interview to the new game for an interview, please. Oh, well, I've seen the game, guys. I've seen the game. The game is incredible. I don't know who I would talk to. I've seen one clip of it. I think the odds of a track at Homestead and being successful would work better. The difference between Homestead Miami Speedway could host a national event if they put in a track. The infrastructure is there. They could host a national event. It will be close to Miami, but that's very difficult. Like we're talking pie in the sky. I mean, it's not like, running a drag strip, who knows what's going on with this Formula One track? Do they have a half-mile stretch? Then maybe they do. Like maybe we can run a drag strip there, but they got to get going. But that's right in the middle of a neighborhood. Right in the middle of a neighborhood. Like the neighborhood would never go for it. They tried to stop Formula One, guys. Do you know that? The local neighborhood tried to stop Formula One. It was one of the dumbest local community things ever. Oh, the noise. Like, have you heard of Formula One car these days? Oh, the pollution. Well, they're they're electric. A lot of them. Oh, and they're having it now and they're realizing, I'm sure they're going to realize. Your local success could have national ramifications. Yeah, somebody threw a little cold water on me yesterday after the victory. I don't want to say who, but the quote was, big money, that kind of money, because we're talking about Walmart or Amazon on the other end of this thing, always wins. And I have found that to be true. But you have to fight the fight anyway. Like the folks in Ukraine. They got to fight the fight anyway. You have to fight the fight. Whatever the result is, you got to fight the fight. Yeah, it's time to start playing the lottery. I don't know, man. It better be Powerball. That's what helps Moroso so good that they put the track away from homes. Yes, they did. And there's 70 million. I want to be positive, but man, I know, Mike, I'm with you. I'm not being negative, but it saddens me. I'm just mad about the situation. It's very difficult. Bristol has a drag strip. Bristol does have a drag strip. I've been there. I enjoy it. Good morning, Joe. I love to visit Tennessee. Tigger, I can see that. Yeah, that's my Tigger's great. I feel like I'm most Tigger-like of all of those people. We need local people living in the area to sign the petition. Hopefully they will. Oh, AJ is waiting for that game. So excited for it. Yes. Not enough. The tuning is important. Tech question. You might know. Does Trans Am use sequential transmissions? And it seems like NASCAR teams could use that knowledge. Well, the new NASCAR cars are sequential transmissions, and I don't know, but I think so. Trans Am. I've called a couple of Trans Am races down at Homestead, and like TA2, I think it's really cool. But I think it depends. Like Trans Am cars definitely use sequential transmissions. TA2, TA3, I don't know about that. All right, guys. That's all I got. If you're in the South Florida area, come down to Homestead Miami Speedway for Fastlane Friday, where I will be calling street drags. Cars go down the racetrack. It's going to be fun. If you're in the West Palm Beach area, Race PBIR or PBIR Racing Friends is one Facebook group. But check out some of the news coverage. National guys. Like, honestly, everybody is investing in South Florida. It is a great investment. There's 186 acres there. And this racetrack cannot be saved until a new buyer is found. Because honestly, like, I watched those guys with their real estate investment the other day, and I felt badly for them. Like, they're just trying to do what they think is right. Trying to make money. It's always right. It's just in this one specific situation, it hurts a lot of people. And I think hurts the community. Follow me on Twitter, WFO Joe. WFO Joe on Instagram as well. I'll post some photographs. Trans Am, they're not even trying, man. Like, that's the deal. Not even trying. What, South Florida is a temporary sandbar? Yeah. So's Venice. They still live there. Venice, Italy, man. Come on. They're having a great time. Everybody goes to Venice. We got at least 100 years left. Maybe longer. I'm going to build stilts on my house. It's going to be great. Thanks to Erica. Thanks to Courtney. Thanks to all of you. Hit the archive. Have a great weekend. WFO.